The other thing I think that's been surprising is just how badly this rookie group has struggled, the quarterbacks. Like we were 3 weeks away from saying, what if these guys are like the 83 draft class, right? What if this is Marino and Jim Kelly and Elway? All of them look good in preseason. Okay, it's only preseason, but look at them all. Mac Jones looks cool, calm, and collected. Zach Wilson just makes it look effortless. Okay, Trevor's made a couple of mistakes, but the amazing is incredible.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, Justin Fields, none of these guys look bad. This is amazing. And then 3 weeks later, it's like every one of them sucks. Mac Jones is the only one that hasn't absolutely just pooped his pants in the middle of a game and then lit it on fire.
And all of his stuff's been up to 10 yards. Every completion's been up to 10 yards.
Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, I think, are 1-2 in turnover-worthy plays. Trey Lance can't get on the field even against a team that couldn't defend a read option from Jared Goff. Justin Fields finally got put out there, and it was like the worst game anybody's ever played in the history of mankind. Not just him, but the entire offense, top to bottom. I didn't expect all of them to look this bad right away.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that surprise. And, maybe we overrated preseason a little bit. So it'd be great if we had a theme to this and you just have this takeaway. Well, here's why it's happening. And I just don't know if there's a good one. One of the themes would be Zach Wilson just never faced pressure at BYU. The game's just too fast for him. Trevor always had the best group of receivers to throw to. And same with Fields. And all these guys just had these. And Mac Jones, that was all we talked about at Alabama. Therefore, they're adjusting. And maybe that is the theme. But we're also 1 year removed from Justin Herbert looking really, really good. We're 3 years removed from Baker's rookie season looking really, really good, right? I mean, so it's not like rookie quarterbacks haven't come in. And Baker was coming from a great situation at Oklahoma. Yeah. An easy, quarterback-friendly situation at Oklahoma and hit the ground running.
It's not even like you can say, hey, maybe you actually want to lean into the quarterbacks that have had a really tough situation in college.
And that was Herbert a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's not even like you can just say that because you only have to reverse a little bit and you get Baker Mayfield, who came out of this situation where one of the negatives from him as a draft prospect was, the situation's just too easy at Oklahoma.
And Burrow, right? I mean, those are guys that have done pretty well.
The guys that have done well right out of the gate don't even share a common theme. It's very difficult to trace any logic from what's happening. The only thing, and I think we've said this before, even if you recognize it as a thing, it doesn't mean that you don't still fall into the bear trap of it, is, to me, preseason is just because you're good doesn't mean you're going to be good. But if you're bad, it's a concern. I think if it's just ticking a box. If you suck in preseason, I would say there's very little chance of you being a rookie quarterback and coming in dominating, right? If you're good in preseason, it evidently doesn't mean that you're going to be good in the regular season. It's just you need to show that you're good in preseason in order for us to not even think about that. But we still have to then concern ourselves about whether that flies once the real bullets start in the regular season. And so far for all these guys, it hasn't. They all dominated in preseason, more or less. And none of them have dominated so far.
Did we also underrate their situations?
Yeah,
because I feel like I talked myself into Trevor and Urban, and I like their receivers. Zach Wilson, it's a Shanahan scheme.
Right.
They added some receivers. The line was supposed to be better. Fields in Chicago, that was the one where we definitely said, okay, that roster's moving in the wrong direction. Maybe Allen Robinson and some speed.
There is something to the idea that the best situation of any of them isn't playing, right? Trey Lance has the best situation of any of these guys and has got 6 snaps so far in the NFL. The next best situation is Mac Jones with the Patriots, and he's the best performing of them so far. So there is something to the idea that the worse the situation, the worse these quarterbacks are playing, and that's probably a pretty significant part of it. People are losing their minds about the way that the game plan was set up for Justin Fields and all those kinds of things. And the game plan wasn't good, but it's more that everything around him was bad. Receivers weren't getting open. The route concepts were bad. The personnel on the offensive line was just getting wrecked by Cleveland's defensive line. The Browns were ready for what they were doing schematically. Everything was terrible. And this is a theme, I think, for a lot of rookie quarterbacks, that they come into bad situations, which is why the team is drafting number 1 or number 3 or whatever it is in the first place. The 49ers are an outlier because they had a randomly freaky bad season because of a million injuries and traded up 9 spots to get to where they were drafting. Most teams that are picking these best rookie quarterbacks, they suck. And they didn't like stop sucking in the offseason just because they drafted the quarterback. Whatever was wrong with them last year is still largely wrong with them when those guys get thrown out there and are expected to raise the level of everything around them.
Yeah. It's a good point, and we do see that a lot, in the NFL, where it's, again, teams are picking in the top 10 for a reason, and it does take some time. If we rewind to the 2018 draft class, that was the time we saw 5 first-round picks. Their rookie seasons, Baker shows up in week 3, and he looked legit. He had some bad games as a rookie, but he looked good. Like, he belonged.
And immediately made a difference from, like, Tyrod Taylor, right? There was a visible difference the second he came in the game. And whilst that sort of seemed like a joke for the last couple of years, Tyrod Taylor showed this year he can start in the NFL and be pretty solid.
Yeah, and Tyrod was definitely struggling at that time, but Baker upgraded there. Darnold never really hit the ground running. Josh Allen, the offense got better when he went in, but that was the year I think they had Derek Anderson that started a game at one point. Like Matt Barkley was starting. I think they were just a mess offensively. The Bills. Josh Allen kind of gave them a little bit of a boost, but it was one of those ugly like overthrows and scramble here and there and great throw here and there. So Josh Allen still wasn't great. We've talked about his rookie grades. Josh Rosen was terrible from start to finish, and he had a terrible situation in Arizona. And then Lamar Jackson clearly boosted the Ravens. They won a ton of games with him, but a lot of his passing issues remained, right? He was an incredible runner, but his passing issues, his accuracy, passing grade wasn't great, passing stats weren't great, but they found a way to win games, and you saw there was something different about him as a runner. So 2 out of 5, Baker and Lamar, made a pretty good difference as a rookie. Allen showed flashes, Darnold showed flashes, but that was what you came out of that year saying, they showed flashes, they got to be more consistent. And then with Rosen, it was like, okay, boy, he better take a big step forward here. And he was out in a year with Kyler. So that class has ended up being pretty good now that Darnold is a reasonable player. And it takes time, and it took a couple of those guys some time. And there are ebbs and flows with where they are in their development.